Good morning from Japan. We're going to look at some NBA totals. This is our NBA total segment for Sportsbook Review, where we look at NBA the totals set by oddsmakers. It's the morning here in Japan. You got to cut me some slack. Um, we look at the total set by oddsmakers, and we try to beat that line either over or under the total. We also have our NCAA basketball segment out there as well, so be sure to check it out. That's been doing really well. So, we've been kind of humming along with NCAA hoops in the for as far as totals are concerned. So check that out. The NBA has been it's been pretty good this week. Yesterday I think we were I know we were 3-1, and then we had a good day the day prior to that. Um, you know, it, it's an ongoing sequence. So you guys want to make sure you check in. You guys want to make sure you share the videos. SBRpicks.com sportsbook review. We got all the numbers, all the odds, sign up bonuses. All the sports books are there for you new guys who've never checked out the site. You got to go check out Sportsbook Review. Blacklist, sports books you want to avoid. That one's really, I think that one's a little bit underrated. That's a really good feature for Sportsbook Review. Because you want to, if you're going to sign up, you got to sign up with something that's reputable. And that's about it. So we're going to get into some totals here. There's already one game that's going on right now with Indiana and Denver, but this is about the time where we're going to be starting. So it's about 4 o'clock Eastern time, I believe. So we're going to be doing this pretty much every day. So tune in, share the video, check it out, and let's go ahead. Let's get in some totals. Um, and it looks like we're going to get started actually in just a second. Why don't I have another drink of coffee here? I'm trying to be more in tune with the comments that are coming up. But we are going to have 3 games on the card today. We got Chicago, New York, Dallas, and Phoenix, and Detroit and Golden State. So 3 really good matchups and some interesting odds the way that the numbers went. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that in just 1 second. Let's look at the spreads real quick before I dive into these totals. Now, Anthony Davis looks like he's good to go for New Orleans. That line dropped though. They actually went from a -5 to a -4 versus Brooklyn. That's kind of a tough play for me. One play I do like today though is Dallas. I like Dallas. That went from a pick and they're now a -2, but I think they take care of Phoenix today. A little bit of revenge for them. Phoenix came into Dallas and beat them just last week, and I like for Dallas to come in and take care of business. That's about it, though. I kind of like Detroit to stay scrappy versus Golden State. Golden State's been less than sharp, but they're also due for kind of a blowout. That's a big line, though. Right now it's at 13. I think Detroit kind of stays within that number. Chicago, New York, I think Butler might be out, so you want to check in on that. But that's a little bit surprising that New York has made a 3.5-point favorite considering how poor they're playing and they're coming back off a tough loss. So maybe they're in a good bounce back spot. We'll see. All right, let's go ahead. Let's jump into some totals. Here we go. First one up we got is that Chicago New York game. Now that line actually jumped up. It was about 202.5 when it opened, and now the number on it is 206.5. I'm going under that total. Now they matched up way earlier back in November with the Knicks beating the Bulls 117 to 104, and odds makers had that total at 210. And so obviously they went over. But I like for them to go under today. And mainly because Chicago has played some really good defense recently. And New York, if they plan on getting out of this slump they're in, they're going to have to pick things up on the defensive end. And I think they know that. So right now you got Chicago. They're only averaging 101.5 points per game. Hoiberg, completely different mindset this year. He's kind of going the opposite of what Casey's doing with Toronto, in that they're actually focusing on some defense. They don't shoot the ball particularly well. They're worst in the league in shooting from beyond the arc, 31.8%. Chicago cannot shoot from distance. And, but we look at them on the other side of the ball, not bad. They're holding opponents to 49.4% on their 2-point shots. That's not bad. But they're also, defensively, they're 7th in the league in opponent shooting efficiency. That's pretty solid. Field goals made per game, they're about in the middle of the league. So we could see some tempo against a New York team that really likes to get up and down. But Chicago without Butler, it just really depends how New York's going to react coming back tonight after losing that really tough loss to Philadelphia at the buzzer. but I don't think they're going to get up and down as quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take under that 206.5. Although that line has gotten up. We got some comments coming up right now. I'll try to get to those in just a second as we just go ahead and continue with the segment. Next one up, I got is a couple later games. We got Dallas and Phoenix. These two I'm going to go over. That line also moved. That line started out about 201, 202, and now it's up to 207. I'm going over on that Dallas game. So last time they matched up, this was just last week. We had 102 to 95. Phoenix won. And the tempo was not particularly fast. But what I like about this going over tonight is the second half of that game. In the second half, they went nuts. They scored, it was 61 to 60 in that second half. And I think that's going to carry over into today. I think they're really going to get after the tempo because who cares? And they're both really poor on the defensive team, and nobody cares about this game. It's arguably the worst game of the night. But neither of these teams are playing any sort of defense. And I think they're going to go ahead and just get up and down. Looks like Bogut's out for Dallas, so that'll probably help them just get up and down. But these defensive numbers, you got Phoenix, they rank second to last in the league, allowing 111.9 points per game. Dallas is a lot better, but that's because they go slow. But they're not going to go slow against Phoenix. I think they're going to get up and down. Defensive statistics across the board. I mean, you're talking about a Dallas team that allows over 40% shooting from distance. That ranks last in the league. Phoenix, they're right behind them, second to last. So if they can knock down their shots, I think Phoenix is going to go ahead and control the tempo because they're at home. They're second in the league in tempo, just behind New York. I like for them to get over this 207. I think it's going to be pretty fast. I think it'll be a pretty fast game. So look for these guys to get up and down. Sorry, I'm checking some comments here, and I gotta scroll so I can see this better. I got Knicks tonight, New Orleans under. I don't know about that New Orleans game because Davis is not 100%, so I don't know how they're going to react. I mean, Brooklyn and New Orleans, they usually get up and down, but I'll answer that really quick before I get to the last one. As for the spread on that New York, also on the Knicks game, I don't know. That's a really interesting line that they're a -3 favorite, 3.5 favorite, but I think Butler's out. So you might want to lean to New York. They're due to get out of their slump. I mean, they do have some talent. And it looks like Rose is back and has his head on straight. Let's see here. What was the total on that New Orleans game? Let me check that out real quick. 218. Yeah, that seems about right. That jumped up 3 points too. I don't know about that one. For me, that's a no play. I'd lay off that one. But if I was going to lean, I'd lean on the over because it's Brooklyn and they really get up and down. All right, let's go to the last game tonight. We got Detroit and Golden State. It has also gone up just a little bit at some places, like from 218.5 to 219. I'm going over. I got it at 218.5. And I'm going over this. Now, we look at them when they met up earlier. Golden State beating Detroit 119 to 113. And in that matchup, this is why I like the over. They shot well. They both shot over 50% from the floor, and Golden State shot 40% from distance. Detroit shot 34.5% from distance. What I like about that is they were really efficient that game. And they had still, despite the high total, they had a lot of turnovers. If they cut down those turnovers, they'll have more chances at scoring buckets. But those turnovers also, they could have turned into buckets the other way, depending on if they were transition points. That one, I can't read that one. But I know this. I know Golden State got up 77 attempts, and Detroit got up 85 attempts. So that's not a fast tempo. And they still scored 119 to 113. This looks to me like it's just going to get up and down. And Golden State's due to really break out and score like over 120. And Detroit can score. As far as the spread, I'm a little bit leaning towards Detroit on that but I'm a big Stan Van Gundy guy, so you have to cut me some slack on that. But Golden State they could beat them by 20. They could beat anybody by 20. So, but I like the over in this one. I think they're going to get over that 218 late night game. I think they're going to get up and down. Let's talk a little bit more about that Golden State Detroit matchup. One last note I wanted to mention. This is the most important thing. That 218. And this has kind of been a theme throughout these NBA totals. And it's been a nice little trend and angle that's been working for us. This is the highest total they've ever had set. Since 2003. The last 13 years, they have never had a total set this high. The highest total they had was 2 games ago. They had 215.5. They went under. Then they had the 214 on the last one. And then back in 2007, they had a 211.5 in which they went over. Of course, it's a completely different, dynamic. They actually had several underplays before they went over in their last matchup, but I think they go over again tonight. And what does it say? Golden State is 0-6 on their ATS lately. Yeah, they might be the play tonight. I lean towards Detroit on the spread, but again, this is about totals for me. So that there's no real official play. The only play for spread plays, I like Dallas. That'd be my one play tonight as far as the spreads are concerned. But I like for this one to get over. Yeah, you're talking about two teams here as I wrap this up. I mean, Golden State's #1 league in every offensive category. Period. Detroit's lacked up. They started out the year really solid defensively, much like the Clippers, but they haven't been as solid recently. And they have no problem getting up and down the floor. I mean, you're talking about a Detroit team that gets up 87 attempts per game. They're ranked 7th in the NBA. So they'll get up and down. They're starting to get healthy. And I think this goes over. All right, let's go ahead. Let's recap that. And, let's have a great day. And hopefully we'll, hit two of these. We'd like to sweep, of course. And a quick recap for yesterday. Oh, I already said that. Yeah, we were 3-1 yesterday on 4 plays. All right, here we go. We've got 3 plays on the card. We got Chicago, New York. I'm going under the 206.5 in the line that's gone up. And I believe Butler is out, so double check on that. Dallas and Phoenix, I'm going over the 207 in the game. I like Dallas to go ahead and win that game. I think they win by 5 or more. And Detroit and Golden State and what should be a track meet over the 218. Those are our 3 NBA picks on the totals today. And as always, I wish you guys luck on your plays today.